Hey winners, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Winnie and I create travel content predominantly centered around solo travel. If you're already part of the family, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video of mine. And if you're new, I would absolutely love it if you could hit the subscribe button and join the winning family. It is absolutely free for you to do so. Now, as you can see by today's title, I'm going to be sharing 4 things that I really enjoyed about Tirana, Albania. Now, I spent 4 nights in Tirana before heading over to Durrës, and I generally left feeling like it's one of those European cities that deserves far more recognition than it gets. So, let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing that I really enjoyed was climbing the pyramid of Tirana. Now, before I traveled to Albania, I'd seen photos of the pyramid online, but seeing it in person was completely different. It's such a unique building because it doesn't really look like anything else I've seen in Europe. What I found really interesting is that the pyramid wasn't originally built as a tourist attraction. It actually opened in 1988 as a museum dedicated to Albania's former communist leader, Enver Hoxha. After the communist era had ended, the building served a number of different purposes over the years before eventually being transformed into the public space that visitors enjoy today. Now, I actually think that what makes it so fascinating is that rather than demolishing it, Albania has managed to reinvent it to something that brings people together. You will see locals relaxing around it, children playing nearby, tourists climbing to the top, and people simply sitting and taking in the gorgeous atmosphere. I absolutely loved it. One of the best parts is that climbing a pyramid is completely free. You simply walk up the stairs built along the outside of the structure until you reach the top. And from there, you're rewarded with some fantastic panoramic views across Tirana. Now, I remember standing up there for a few minutes, just taking everything in. And you know what? Sometimes when we travel, we automatically assume that the most memorable experiences are the expensive one. But standing on the top of the pyramid reminded me that that's not always true. Some of the best travel memories can come from the simple moments. No entrance fee, no tour guide, just beautiful views and a chance to appreciate where you are. It's definitely somewhere I'd recommend adding to your Tirana itinerary. Now, the second thing I enjoyed was the dining experience. Now, if you've watched my travel videos before, you absolutely know I love food. All right, it's no secret I am a foodie. Honestly, trying local food is one of my favorite parts of traveling because I feel like you get to experience a country's culture through its cuisine. Now, one thing that I noticed in Tirana was how relaxed dining felt. I never once felt rushed, and as somebody solo traveling, that was something I really appreciated. Sometimes when you're dining alone, it can feel a little conscious, especially if restaurants are busy. But in Tirana, I never experienced that. I could order my food, sit back, enjoy the atmosphere, people watch a little, and simply take my time. It almost felt encouraged, and the restaurants themselves were also really beautiful. There were so many stylish cafes and restaurants with lovely interiors that made you want to stay a little longer. And thankfully, the food matched the aesthetics. Because there's nothing worse than somewhere looking amazing but the food being disappointed. And luckily, that wasn't my experience at all. Everything I ate was fresh, full of flavor, and beautifully presented. So whether you're looking for traditional Albanian dishes, something more international, there's so many options to choose from. And I also found the customer service to be super excellent. Staff were warm, attentive, and generally welcoming, and they made me feel comfortable as a solo traveler, which definitely added to my overall experience. So if you're foodie like me, Tirana is definitely not going to disappoint you. Now, the third thing that I joined was simply how beautiful the city is. Honestly, I do not think that my camera fully captured how lovely Tirana looked in real life. Have you ever visited somewhere where you constantly find yourself stopping because you want to admire what's around you? Well, that was me. I found myself walking slower because I kept looking around, whether I was strolling through the city centre, passing colourful buildings, relaxing in one of the green spaces, or simply wandering without a destination. I genuinely enjoyed taking everything in. It almost felt like walking through a postcard. The city has this lovely balance where it feels modern in some areas, but still has plenty of character and history. There are colourful buildings, interesting architecture, wide streets, public squares, and mountains in the distance that create such a beautiful backdrop. It's the type of place where you don't necessarily need a packed itinerary, in my opinion. Sometimes just walking around is enough. And as somebody who enjoys photography, filming content, as you can see, Tirana was an absolute dream. Every few minutes, I felt inspired to take another photo or record another clip because everywhere seemed to offer a different perspective. Even if photography isn't your thing, I think it's one of those cities where you naturally slow down and appreciate your surroundings. And you know what? I, for one, I absolutely loved it because who doesn't love being in an absolute gorgeous place? Now, last but definitely not least, the people, right? I cannot emphasize this enough. Out of everything that I experienced in Tirana, this is probably what has stayed with me the most. Because when I think back to my trip, I don't immediately think about the buildings or the restaurants. I think about how the people made me feel. As a solo woman traveler, that is incredibly important. The ladies working in the local shops would often compliment me, smile at me, and even teach me a few Albanian words. Those little interactions might seem small, but they really made my day. And whenever I visited restaurants or cafes, staff would ask me how I was finding Albania and whether I was enjoying my trip. What I really, really loved is that these conversations, these interactions, it never felt forced. It always felt genuine and it added a really nice touch to my day. One interaction that really stood out to me was with my taxi driver. We got chatting during the journey, built a really nice rapport, and by the end of it, I trusted him enough to book him again when I traveled from Tirana to Durrës. It's amazing how quickly complete strangers can make you feel comfortable when they're simply kind. And I think that that's something I always remember about Albania. Of course, every traveler's experience is going to be different, but personally, can't speak for anybody else. I felt incredibly welcome throughout my time there. If you're somebody who loves beautiful destinations, delicious food, friendly locals, and a city that offers something, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, I genuinely think that Tirana is definitely worth considering. Whether your idea of a perfect trip is wandering through the streets with your camera, trying amazing restaurants, enjoying the cafes, culture, or simply taking your time and soaking up a new destination, I think Tirana definitely has something to offer. It's definitely a city that I would return to, and next time I'd love to explore even more of Albania because this trip really opened my eyes to just how underrated the country is. If you visited Tirana before, please do let me know in the comments what your favorite part was in terms of like what you really loved about being there or loved doing or loved seeing, etc. And if you're Albanian, I would love to hear what you love most about your country. Thanks so much for watching, and until my next video, mwah, take care and be good.